guy to talk about that, isn't he?
Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick.
Piers Morgan had on David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Dave Ruben, Ben Ferguson, and Brianna Wu. The sparks were flying as usual, and this turned into a real fight. Let's watch some highlights and discuss.
The former Democratic congressional candidate, Brianna Wu, who is also a trans woman. Brianna, welcome to Uncensored. Yeah. I can't think of anyone better qualified, given you're the only trans member of the panel now, to respond to what our two liberal friends are saying.
I'll be trans if it'll give me a chance to talk.
You've had so many shows.
There's something actually there. There's something there, Dave.
It's always some gay person that's talking on our behalf. So I'm really excited today to talk about how everyone here is wrong. David, I love your show. I consider you a friend.
I can't be wrong.
You and the Democrats are completely wrong about what trans people need. We don't need you advocating for, trans vaginoplasties in prison. We need to retreat back to the basics of what we need, which is HRT and healthcare. And the problem is the Democrats have been captured by this fringe left that has redefined what trans means to all this non-binary nonsense and all this stuff that has nothing to do with how we got our rights in the first place. Ben, you can appreciate this. I was the first trans person to ever transition at Ole Miss, our alma mater. That was very, very different. It was 20 years ago, toddy. And the thing is, the way I got equality and got people to respect me in Mississippi was not by screaming at them or lecturing them about my pronouns. It was getting them to see my humanity. This is something trans people have just completely lost. And the problem is the Democratic Party is unwilling to call out these bad actors. And because of this, we are having a conversation that does not serve trans people. Piers, I am begging you on this show, stop inviting the stupidest leftists on to make the argument for trans civil rights. Let some people actually understand this stuff. And Dave is laughing because you understand integration as a gay man. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You've done the same playbook your whole career.
Well,
this works. This is how you got
I'm only gay. I'm only gay starting at 10 p.m. What time is it? We'll have to check on that. But actually, you're completely right. Brianna, you're completely right. What's happening with the left is that these saviors, these progressive warriors that you see in these boxes here, think that they know more about these people than they know about themselves.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And by the way, this has nothing to do with a well-funded evil money machine that the Republicans were doing. There's something called boys and girls. And
Ruben's the right guy to talk about that, isn't he?
Most parents, oh God, you're such a smug prick.
David and Brian hardly ever talk about gay or trans rights unless it comes up in the news. I don't know how they are suddenly to blame for the fringe left. Dave Ruben is a grifter who makes his money by being a gay Republican. If he wasn't gay, he would not have a job.
Listen, most parents actually want to defend their daughters and don't want them to have the crap kicked out of them by boys, and they don't want them to be playing boys in soccer or any of these other things. That is a defense of girls. If someone, as an adult, 18, 21, we can discuss the age, wants to dress how they want, have any surgeries, take whatever drugs, do whatever they want with their body, most people, even Republicans, don't object to that. And I have no problem referring to Brianna as she, because I can clearly sense she would treat me with respect, and I'll treat her with respect.
Funny you say that, Dave, because most of your Republican colleagues would refuse to call Brianna a woman. Do you ever call them out on it? No, you don't, because you have no principles.
And it's a two-way street, rather than pandering and bowing to a bunch of people that could not give a crap about anybody else.
Yeah, and David, let me bring in David Pakman again, because you were very quick when I asked how you felt about being so wrong about this, to accuse me of being misleading, disinformation, misconstruing a United Nations report. So because we're a very nimble team here, while you were talking, they just went and double-checked, because I was curious what you were talking about. And we found, we found the United Nations report. And it's not a footnote, as you said, it's page 5 of the report. It says, and I quote, the United Nations says nearly 900 biological females have fallen short of the podium because they were beaten out by trans athletes. The findings were compiled by the UN's Rapporteur on Violence Against Women, entitled Violence Against Women and Girls in Sport. The report said more than 600 athletes didn't medal in more than 400 competitions in 29 different sports, totaling over 890 medals. The replacement of the female sports category with a mixed sex category has resulted in an increasing number of female athletes losing opportunities, including medals, when competing against males, the report said. So, David, again, would you like to now apologise for being not only wrong about this being an election issue, but being wrong about your correction when I asked you if you were sorry for being wrong?
Look at the underlying source, Piers. I have it printed out in the other room.
It wasn't a footnote.
Look at the underlying source.
It's page
now,
5.
I do want to say one thing about this. I actually agree with a lot of what Brianna and what Dave Ruben said. I actually agree with it. I am not the savior here to do X, Y, or Z for trans people. What I'm saying is I don't actually think I even need to play that role. I don't think this is the issue that maybe you think I believe it to be. So I agree with a lot of what Dave Ruben and Brianna said there. I do think it's important to consider that when Dave Ruben talks about well-funded this or that, his Russian money source just dried up, and he's the last person who should be talking about funding sources. And to be honest, Dave,
I love listening to Dave Ruben being called out on his master grift. However, David was clearly wrong about the footnote and should have acknowledged it. Things start to explode now as Dave and Ben defend Russian money.
Hold on, now Ben's jumping. Everybody's jumping. Hold on a second. I can't even hear Ben. Why would Ben jump in? I'm not even addressing Ben.
I think Dave's hang on.
That Brian
you made a very direct charge against Dave Ruben. Let Dave Ruben reply to that.
Because no one believes your BS anymore. Jesus Christ, these people are so pathetic.
They've been indicted, Ruben. The Tenet Media people were indicted.
I got indicted.
He was not indicted. And it said in the report, if you weren't a smug prick, to quote him earlier.
I didn't say Ruben was indicted. I just said the money dried up.
That Dave Ruben and the others involved did not know about it. And this is why people think you're kind of a jackass.
Yes, this is why everyone hates
putting words in my mouth.
This is the reason why you read the report. And by the way, Pakman, if this happened to you.
So you're telling me $6 million a year and alarm bells don't start ringing. Okay, Dave.
You were crying because your audience is purging you and you're running out of subscribers and you're in a doom loop. And the reason is no one gives, Piers, pardon me, a shit about this woke bullshit anymore. We've had it, and now you guys can sit back and be quiet. You want to talk about people being paid for their ideas?
Just let me address this.
It's you people for 20 years. You've had all of entertainment. You have had all of Hollywood. You have had all of music. You've had all your P. Diddy parties and Epstein and everything else. And now enough of us have had it. So crawl back into your little irrelevant cave. It's time, bro.
The problem with Dave's argument is that if you actually look into left-wing policy, it makes a lot more sense and has been a lot more successful than right-wing policy. I couldn't care less about the other things. I just want America to move towards the best policy that will help the most people.
Can I address any of that, Piers? Is that allowed?
Sure.
Okay. It is absolutely true that in the 48 hours after the election, a lot of very upset leftists started pulling back from political content. I was hit by it.
No, not from political content, from your political content.
I have to be able to talk about it, though.
About everything.
I have to be able to talk. I have to be able to get a word in. Unless you just want Dave Ruben to talk. Let me know, Piers.
I love hearing Dave Ruben talk.
I would prefer that.
Yet again, Piers is showing how biased he is. Next, he will be saying how he is in the middle and chooses no sides.
Thank you, Piers.
No, if there's no rebuttal allowed, then I won't rebut.
You've probably done most of the talking so far, so why don't you do a bit more talking?
I'll say this and then I'll be quiet the rest of the show.
Because Brian hasn't said anything for ages. I want to bring him in.
I want Brian to win. That completely reversed. I do think that it must be that Dave is upset that Brian and I have surpassed him in viewership and subscribers. Because if you just look at the numbers, it lasted 48 hours. They all came back.
I don't even know who this other guy is.
Nobody cares about how many subscribers you have, David. It is funny that Ruben says he doesn't know who Brian is, though. Speaking of subscribers, if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.